There's a moment every gardener dreads. You lift the compost lid or scratch the soil near a bed, and the unmistakable signs are there. Chewed scraps, tunnels, and the silent evidence that rodents got to your hard-earned organic matter first. What if I told you there's a method so effective that rodents won't even recognize it as food, yet plants respond as if you handed them a feast? This isn't a modern hack or a viral trick, it's an old, quiet practice rooted in fermentation. And once you understand it, you'll never look at kitchen scraps the same way again. This method matters because it solves three problems at once. It deals with food waste faster than composting, it keeps pests completely uninterested, and it rebuilds soil in a way that feels almost unfairly effective. Let's get straight into how it works and why gardeners who use it rarely go back. Why fermentation changes everything in the garden. When most people think of food scraps in the garden, they think of rot. Rot smells sweet and putrid at the same time, and that smell is like a dinner bell for rats, mice, raccoons, and every scavenger within range. Fermentation is different. Instead of letting oxygen-loving microbes take over, this method deliberately removes air and invites lactic acid-producing bacteria to dominate. When vegetable scraps, fruit peels, and even stale grains are packed tightly in a sealed container, those bacteria convert sugars into organic acids. The pH drops fast, the smell turns sharp and sour, closer to pickles than decay. To rodents, this acidic environment signals danger and inedibility. Their sensitive noses read it as something that will upset their system, so they avoid it entirely. What's fascinating is that plants experience the exact opposite outcome. Once this fermented material enters the soil, the acids don't stay acidic for long. Soil microbes buffer and neutralize them, unlocking nutrients that have already been partially digested. Instead of raw scraps that need months to break down, you're adding material that soil life can immediately work with. The simple setup that makes scraps rodent-proof. The beauty of this method is how little equipment it requires. A sturdy container with a tight-fitting lid is enough. Kitchen scraps should be chopped or torn into smaller pieces to reduce trapped air. Every layer gets pressed down firmly, because oxygen is the enemy here. No air means no rot. To kickstart fermentation, you add a small amount of live culture. This can be 2 tablespoons of liquid from naturally fermented vegetables, 1 tablespoon of plain yogurt mixed with a 1/4 cup of water, or 2 tablespoons of unpasteurized vinegar brine. That's all it takes. The container is sealed and stored out of direct sun. Within 3 to 5 days you'll notice the smell shift. By the end of 2 weeks, the scraps will look softened and pickled rather than decomposed. This is exactly what you want. At this stage, rodents won't touch it, but soil microbes will welcome it enthusiastically. Why early gardeners relied on this without knowing the science. Long before anyone talked about pH or microbial dominance, farmers noticed patterns. Raw scraps attracted pests. Fermented scraps disappeared into the soil quietly. In tight homesteads where compost piles sat near grain stores or animal feed, this distinction mattered. Fermented material could be buried close to crops without creating a problem. What they were observing was chemistry at work. Fermentation alters proteins and sugars, removing the signals rodents look for. At the same time, it preserves nutrients rather than letting them volatilize or wash away. This made fermented scraps incredibly valuable during colder months when compost piles slowed or froze. Trench feeding for deep, lasting fertility. One of the most effective ways to use fermented scraps is trench application. This method works beautifully in ground beds and along planting rows. A shallow trench is dug where future roots will grow. Then, a thin layer of fermented material is spread evenly along the bottom, and after that, it's covered with at least 4 inches of soil. The key here is timing. You'll want to allow 2 to 3 weeks between burial and planting. During that window, soil microbes neutralize acidity and begin integrating nutrients. By the time roots reach the zone, it has become a nutrient corridor running exactly where plants need it most. Heavy-feeding crops respond especially well. Tomatoes develop stronger stems, corn pushes deeper roots, and squash shows faster early growth. The nutrients aren't floating around the surface, they're placed precisely where roots can access them steadily. For gardeners working with raised beds or containers, blending fermented scraps into a slurry is, honestly, a real game changer. This increases the surface area and, well, speeds up microbial access quite a bit. The ratio is simple and precise. You just combine 2 liters of fermented scraps with 2 liters of water and blend until smooth. This creates a thick, pourable liquid that's easy to use. The slurry can be poured directly onto the soil and gently worked into the top few inches. Within just a few weeks, changes become visible. Earthworm activity increases, soil structure improves, and moisture retention becomes noticeably better. The soil even smells alive, rather than flat or dusty. This approach actually mirrors how early settlers reused fermented byproducts from food preservation. They understood that broken down, sour material fed soil faster than raw waste ever could. So, what's really happening beneath the surface? The true power of this method lies in what it does to the soil ecosystem. Fermented scraps act as an inoculant, They introduce beneficial microbes that stimulate existing soil life. Instead of forcing plants with salts or synthetic nutrients, you're activating a living system that feeds plants naturally. That's why results feel different. Growth is, well, steadier, leaves look healthier without excessive softness, roots explore deeper because the soil structure supports them. This isn't a quick fix, it's a foundational improvement. Why does this work year-round when compost fails? Well, traditional composting really depends on warmth, airflow, and of course, time. Fermentation, on the other hand, relies on sealing and honestly, just a bit of patience. Even in cold climates, a sealed container continues to ferment, albeit slowly. That's exactly why this method shines during winter. Scraps don't just pile up uselessly, they transform quietly in a garage or shed, ready to feed your beds when conditions allow. This consistency makes it ideal for gardeners who want to reduce waste all year long, without attracting pests or having to manage complicated systems. Here's how this fits into a self-reliant garden system. Once you start using fermented scraps, you'll notice just how many problems it quietly solves. Food waste turns into an asset instead of a liability. Rodents, well, they lose interest entirely. Your soil improves, without needing to buy extra inputs, and you're joining a cycle that gardeners relied on for centuries, long before industrial fertilizers came along. It's not flashy, it doesn't come in a bag, but it works, and it keeps working, season after season. If you found this guide valuable and want more practical, time-tested methods just like this, make sure you subscribe to Crop Corner and share this with a fellow gardener who's tired of feeding rodents instead of their plants. These forgotten techniques really deserve to stay alive, and together, we can keep them growing.